On my fellow reef builders, I'm Jake Adams coming to you with a fresh update on our now 2-year-old Nano reef tank. If I recall, the last time we really got our hands in here was when we planted a bunch of this Palithoa grandis sun polyps. And to be completely honest, in the interim, we've just let it coast. That's got to be like 6, 7, 9 months ago. I don't know. This tank is gives me no issues. So it's like a wheel that doesn't squeak. It gets no oil. We just look at it, looks fine, especially under the blue light, which hides a lot of different blemishes. And we generally turn it a little bit whiter for the video, so you can get a better feel of what's going on in here. But otherwise, yeah, this tank's been going for 2 years. I think we've done 4, maybe 5 water changes ever. These were never to address nutrients and more just kind of give the tank a breath of fresh air. As you can see, the green star polyps is making itself well at home. The green star polyps, the sun polyps, and this glorious large gold torch is our showiest one here at the studio. And I reckon that this is going to become a gold torch aquarium in the near future. So let me kind of give you a rundown from top to bottom of what's happening in this tank, and hopefully that answer every possible question you might have about it. So starting from the very top, this tank is using a Red Sea Reef Lead 50. This is one of the first ones. I have never experimented with any other lights on this tank or the schedule very much. It runs about a 100% blue spectrum for around 8 hours. And I want to say that the white channel peaks at about 20 to 30% for 6 hours, probably less, and I don't even dabble with the moonlight. We did have an interesting comment from someone who noticed that our protein skimmer in the rear filter compartment section was flipped around, and had to go look at the instructions for this particular tank, and sure enough it was pointed the wrong way, but didn't really matter because we don't rely on it for nutrient export, and we have cleaned it just a handful of time, and it really doesn't pull that much. With this load of corals, then 2 fish, the 2 clownfish, and the dottyback, as much as we feed it, everything kind of sucks it up. So that's the Red Sea Reef Reef Lead LED light, the protein skimmer, and there's a small filter sock, like a nylon filter sock, that gets cleaned 3 or 4 times a year. Kind of lets us know that it's clogged when water starts to kind of flow around it, and it makes a different noise, and then we know, hey, we should clean it. Maybe 1 or 2 times I've dropped just a little bit of carbon or a little bit of aluminum oxide, little white pellets, to help just, clarify the water. Not that there was anything particularly wrong. So that would be the equipment while all the water flow is still being provided by the stock return pump, which in a tank this small just keeps everything moving almost exactly as much as it needs. Not too much, not too little. I don't know how much I would try to grow acros in this tank without it, but yeah, as you can see, so far so good. Visually, you can see that one of the back rocks kind of got dislodged and kind of fell down, but most of the corals that are on it have since, kind of readapted to the orientation. What else do we have going on here? I want to really just make clear that this tank has the big 4 pests that people worry about. It's got little patches of cyano, it's got some Valonia, it has Aptasia, and just a little bit of the little red planaria. And yeah, they're there. If we kept the tank really white, they'd probably get worse, but under a mostly blue spectrum, it's hard to see red cyano and just tiny bits of green hair algae or Valonia when the tank is mostly blue. The only thing that draws your eyes really is the neon green star polyp, the gold torch, the big old sun polyps, the orange frog spawn, and I'm actually super happy to see that the prism favia is winning his war against the encroachment of the star polyps, because I wasn't sure if that was going to happen. But one thing that did lose that battle was a small piece of red, thin branching red Monopora carinata. It's going by the trade name of Manila Spy Monopora. It was growing a little bit faster than the green star polyp could encroach on it, and then I guess maybe the clownfish or a snail kind of knocked it over, so now there's just a couple straggler pieces down at the bottom. We haven't added too much to this tank other than the large sun polyps. I did have a few loose, just like regular orange discosoma shrooms, and I think I tossed 2 or 3 in there, and they're just kind of attached to the gravel, wherever they may be. Did add this nice bright orange true acan echinata, nice neon orange with bright green mouths. You guys know I'm a fan of true acans. And then another thing I added in here is 2 different strains of clove polyps, Clavularia clove polyps. One of them is mostly the green, neon green clove polyps, and then the other one has a little bit more the green restricted to the mouth with a little bit of the orange tips. But despite how dim it is in this tank, or at least I think so, some of the neon green clove polyps are super pale. They're fully open, they're big, but they're really on the pale side. And like half of the orange tip clove polyps are good, but they're like kind of mixed in. So I'm not sure. The only time I do really well with clove polyps is when I put them in like the dirtiest, dimmest, bluest tank, and but that's just not how I reef, so that's kind of a little bit of challenge. The 2 clownfish, they haven't grown as much as they did in the first year. They seem to be, you know, kind of settled in. They are mocha storms, so not the black, not the orange, somewhere in between. Just a beautiful pair. And then the indigo dotty back, it's a hybrid between the orchid and the Sankei dotty back. That guy, you know, usually they're out and about because we don't like sit this close to the tank all the time, but right now he's just kind of found a crevice down below, and that's what he's doing. So yeah, that's kind of where this tank is at right now. I never really worry about the cyano. I may do a treatment down the road. I added a peppermint shrimp just about a week ago. And I know that over time, he's slowly just gonna whittle that down. And it could take half a year before he really just eliminates the last little bit of aptasia tissue. We'll have to do a thorough cleaning of the backside, make sure there's not a resident pool back here to reseed the tank. And then for the Valonia, it's really not that bad. I think what we'll do is a combination of the next time it's absolutely time to give it a water change, we'll do some manual picking with just kind of a dental pick using a small hose, a very thin tubing, just kind of suck it out, and help it out with adding 1 emerald crab, who, just like a peppermint shrimp, will slowly chip away at that small nuisance. There's 1 snail in here, and he's kind of like the resident reservoir of hair algae, because that's one of the few places that hair algae doesn't get grazed from is his back. I would definitely attribute some of the Valonia and a little bit of hair algae just to what Mark Vanderwall would call benign neglect, and this tank falls fully in that category. The funny part about doing this video update for you guys on this super hands-off Nano Reef tank is I get most of my viewing done total of this tank while we're shooting this video, while I'm sitting here and looking at the tank and describing just a very small list of things that are going good and things that are going bad. There's just not that much going in here, and maybe that's a little part of the secret to this tank. You know, keeping it super simple, having a vision of how we wanted it to be set up early on, and then just letting it go. For sure, some of my other tanks both benefit and suffer from constant tinkering watering and putting new lights and a yo-yo chemistry from lots of heavy dosing and then lots of heavy coral growth. But yeah, I think the next time we get in here, we'll just kind of rearrange some of those rocks, pick off some of that Bologna, and maybe liberate the one turbo snail from his little turf of algae riding on his back. But one thing I do really like about this tank is just how luscious the gold torch is, how the green star polyps is just as neon and flowy as it could possibly be, and especially how I can enjoy part of my sun polyp collection here on this side. It's a really fun tank. You know, some cube tanks kind of are enjoyed somewhat like a peninsula style because you get to see them from all sides, but the aquascape of this tank is really predominantly facing the front and then beginning to face the side because I walk by this tank here all the time. But yeah, this tank, you know, I could probably leave it completely alone for another 6 months and it wouldn't look much different. But I think next time we bring you an update of this tank, it'll be during or after we do some of these touches up that I am talking about. So I know a lot of you guys have been asking for an update on the you know, this tank that went with no water changes and no hands in the tank for literally 1 year after been set up for 1 day. And yeah, we just keep it super simple and super enjoyable. If there's any specific pieces of coral you think that would look good in this tank, let us know them down in the comments. If you have any questions that we haven't covered in this video or previous videos, we're happy to answer them now. So thank you for your patience in getting this update on the Nano Reef tank, and we'll catch you guys in another video very soon. Bye guys.